All right, let's do this. Very strange because I actually want to change this, but I think I'm going to work on this. Just see what's going to come out of it. Now I realize what I really want to eat is something sweet. And I think I'm just going to prepare it because what I feel like I really wanted was a coffee. But what I really feel like is that if I drink a coffee now, I'm gonna spread myself too thin, if you know what I mean, which you might, hard to say. But I would like to show you how to make. But you can only draw out so much energy and propel yourself to the next level. And this is what people that take amphetamines, that take speed, will realize eventually. Right? And that's the truth. Now, this is corn flour. In Tanzania, they call this ugali. And in South Africa, they call it pap. And then in Spain, they call it polenta. And I have been taught by indigenous women from Africa how to make it. And the way to go about it is you take like a cup. It's like a yogurt cup, right? For measurements. And you take 2 amounts of this, 2 amounts of water for 1 amount of this. Now I will do it a bit different now. Normally I would do it intuitively, but I will first take the water. It's really hard sometimes to listen. And I can tell you why I find it hard to listen. Because sometimes people are trying to tell me to do things because they think it's gonna work better that way. But I have my own way of doing things. And it hurts my inner child if I spend time with people that constantly tell me how to do things. Because if they do so, that means they don't trust me. And that just makes me really angry. Because it's condescending to act like someone else doesn't know how to live, for instance. And if you look at me and the experiences I've made so far, I think you can conclude, like with a high degree of certainty, that Christopher knows what he's doing. And that what he's doing is something that you cannot do because otherwise you would do it. But you cannot because you're not Christopher. And that's why when I meet people and they tell me that smoking is really bad, I say, if I feel like I'm managing, right? It's like, then that should be enough for you. But of course, if I look like really dirty and I start smelling really disgustingly and my teeth fall out and my apartment is a complete mess and, you know, I can't even manage to clean myself, yeah, sure, man, then you can say something. But the people I meet, they constantly do these, yeah, I think you're doing bad, because they want to kind of mother me or something, or smother me. So sometimes people want to see that others feel shit about what they do. So I added now 4 cups of water, which means I will have to add 2 cups of pap. And the problem is, that, right, if you're trying to tell me how to live my life, although I'm not asking, then I either have to want to hear it or I have to refuse. And it's often that if people offer you help, right, they actually won't help themselves. And then you're giving them something, and then they gotta work with that. And that's basically a lot of people that I meet, right? They act like they want to help me, but what they really need is my help. And maybe we really need each other. It's possible. But it often brings me to that point of, I really don't want to see you anymore, because when we meet, you're telling me how to be. And maybe the person is only doing that because I'm doing that. It's hard to say. And maybe it's being part of the game, to be constantly tested. And like right now I have this really unhealthy, you know, it's like sugar grass, and I just want to stuff myself with it. But I also decided I'm just going to keep it as a reminder that there are foods that are really terrible. And that's why I'm not so sure about the Nespresso that comes from wherever. It's like Starbucks. But I have to say that when I drink it, it feels empty. I know that now. Because this stuff is being probably hydrogenized, or it's being chemically worked on, I can tell. And if I drink coffee that I got from someone that I like and I grind it myself with cardamom, it's much nicer. And so, yeah, I feel like this coffee, I would have to drink more of it. If I drink like coffee that I put in the work, it's a bit different. And that's the same with cooking. You can buy instant mashed potatoes, or you can just make it yourself by peeling the potatoes. That's actually something I could do, but now I'm doing pap. I could always switch. But I think I want to do pap. And I'm going to do creamy pap. And I realized that I need some fat. I need something. And that's why I'm taking coconut cream, which has 17% of fat. And there is some that actually has even more fat. There's 1 liter, you know, so I'm good to go. So the way I've been shown this, you bring it first to a boil. I'm running out of salt, which Africans would actually not put in here for whatever reason, but I'm used to having salt. And sometimes a pinch is already enough. So you just bring this to a boil, and this is something that I'm gonna put it in now. But I've been actually taught to wait until it's hot. Like the water has to be hot. And then the way they do it is also with a whisk. I'm not sure if they always do it. I'm just gonna prepare both cups. Oh, I cannot do it. Oh yeah, I can actually. Look. No, I thought I couldn't do it. Now it depends on what you want. I want it to be nice. The way I like it. So these are just yogurt cups. Yeah, I think I'm gonna turn this off because this thing stays hot for ages. This is... I'm gonna put it in now, and then you stir it with a whisk. The way they did it is actually still a bit different. And this is frothing it. It's also making it a bit like soft, so that you don't just have like a bulk. And then what you're doing, you put a lid on top, and then you can actually switch to... Wow, I miss this. I was eating this a lot, not as much as you might think, because if I eat something every day, I start getting sick of it. I could say I'm pampered with too much choice, or I could say my spirit needs change. Which I think is actually the way it is. And if you leave it like this, because the water is in, with pap it's also traditional that it starts to bake. You know, it's just a stick at the bottom. I have no problem with that, because if it sticks at the bottom, it's gonna develop a nice crust. That's coconut fat that I'm gonna put in now. This is pure luxury. I mean, think people in Africa, right? Just try. They don't have. It's already sticking. So if you want to avoid that, you actually have to constantly stir it. Wow, it's already good. And then you make sure to really like... I mean, when they make this for families, they have large wooden spoons and a giant pot made of aluminium or cast iron. Usually, you know, they use poikies. also. And to stir such a large pot of pap, it is a lot of work. I'm telling you, I've done that for whole groups of people. And believe me when I say, it's a lot of work. But I know how to do it, and that's cool. I just have to find people that want me to do it to them. I'm gonna add the coconut cream already. This is not traditional. This is Christopher wants something sweet, right? Little Christopher feels a bit lonely today, and that's why he needs to find things that give him pleasure and that make his inner child a bit happy. And that's me then taking care of myself by giving love to myself. Because I realized that other people have nothing to give. And this is gonna be super creamy, and I'm gonna eat it with my jam, the banana jam that I made before. I just wanna try. Maybe it's already, I have no... Wow. I have no patience now. I tried doing everything at the same time, but I have to admit that it's impossible. I cannot stretch myself too far and pretend that I just like everyone. Because to be honest, people piss me off on a frequent basis. And maybe that's what you call love then. This is the way I love myself. Yeah, because when you live life like I do, that you want to give, and you want to keep giving. But you come to this place where you realize, I've got nothing to give anymore. And nobody can give me anything back. No time, no money, no nothing. And you smoke a doobie and you think, well, can I do more now? And then you realize, yeah, fuck that shit. Right? It's like that fist fight I was talking about. I just ran for it. I just pulled off an incredible sprint. And they never saw me again, right? And that's basically what I'm doing then. And so now I can then just avoid these people that have an evil intent towards me, because I know how their energy feels like. And I can literally avoid coming into contact with them simply by following my feeling and going to the places where I want to be when I want to be there. If I know somebody is always there around 4, then I'm just going to be there at 10. And then I also avoid spending time with people that hang around smoking cannabis while I'm the one working out. Or that I actually want to work out. But then people realize you exist and they want to have time with you. They just suck you dry. And that's what you have to work with. I'm just gonna eat a little already, just to get a taste of the meal, right? But it probably has to be in there for a long, long time until it's done. If you would serve this to an African woman, she would probably be disgusted. Because it's not cooked properly. And they can taste it. They will say, bleh. They probably would hate it that I put in coconut cream and salt, or maybe they would love it. It's hard to say. It's like introducing Coke, like the drink, to a tribe. Imagine how that would be for them. Just imagine. So this is being steamed now. This is how you make rice also. Not like this without the stirring, but this is the basic idea of how to make rice. And so think about it for some time. You go to a tribe and let's say you give them Coke and they test it. And they're like, oh, it's fuzzy and sparkling, and maybe some say it's weird. But maybe one or two will from now on crave Coke. Because it's made to be addictive. It has a lot of sugar in it. You know, it's like literally snorting Coke. Because cocaine is sugar, in a way. And who knows that they don't... Oh shit. Who's telling you that they don't add cocaine to sugar? That sugar itself is something completely different. And maybe cocaine is just referring to an extract. And what is sugar but an extract these days? And that's why basically all these things, the cannabis, the tobacco that we smoke, the coffee that we drink, it's all empty. Now if you would buy tobacco leaves and ferment and sort them out yourself maybe, that would be different. Or if you would grow your own tobacco. This is nice. I'm glad I made this. Because I'm really, really dead. And I know I said the next video should be outside. But I just couldn't get myself to leave the apartment today. And I think we all know how that feels like. I simply happen to have a life where it's actually a possibility. Which is also scary because what are you gonna do? I knew I need something sweet. But to just eat jam is very unsatisfying. And I didn't want to make bread. This was super easy now. I also have I have very high standards. This is certainly not a cliche smoker food, but it's what it boiled down to when I realized I need to eat something sweet, dessert-like. And then my feeling was guiding me, and a voice said, "What do you have?" And I said, "Oh, I could make pap and eat it with jam." And then I realized I can boost it with coconut cream because that's what I have. And that's what I have now. Because eating Fries, I could have made oven potatoes without mayonnaise. To me, that's basically rape. I mean, you have to have mayonnaise. Keep the ketchup. But mayonnaise, I should have it at home at all times. And peanut butter. But the problem is when I have peanut butter, I'm just gonna eat it every day. Then I'm gonna be bloated. And that's why sometimes it's actually better not to have tobacco at home, which I failed. But it's alright, whatever. Anyway, that's my life.